You know, we've all wondered it. Why are some people single? It's so easy to jump to conclusions, right? Oh, it's just bad luck, or maybe they're scared of commitment. But what if that's completely wrong? What if it's not about what they're missing, but about what they've already figured out? Let's dive into the real psychology behind this whole thing.
You've probably heard it asked just like this, right? Why are you still single? It always has that little hint of judgment, doesn't it? As if being single is some kind of problem you need to solve. Well, the idea that everybody's main goal is to find a partner, that's a total myth. And today, we're going to take that assumption apart, piece by piece.
Okay, so here's the deal. For a whole lot of people, staying single isn't just something that happens to them. It's an active, deliberate choice. And the psychology behind it is actually fascinating. It's rooted in some seriously powerful behavioral patterns. So let's get right into it. We're going to break down 5 key psychological reasons that explain why some people are not just single, but are confidently and intentionally choosing that life.
All right, number 1, and this is a big one. They prioritize their independence over attachment. I mean, for some folks, their freedom and personal space, that's not just a nice to have, it's a core need. They've built a life for themselves where that autonomy is way more fulfilling than being constantly attached to someone else.
And this all comes back to a really powerful psychological idea called internal validation. So what's that? It's basically the ability to feel whole and totally secure in yourself, by yourself, without needing a relationship to prove your worth. Research into attachment styles actually backs this up. It shows that people who are either secure or even what's called dismissive avoidant feel completely fine without constant closeness. For them, being alone feels, well, it feels natural, not lonely.
Okay, on to number 2. Now, you often hear that people who stay single are just too picky. But honestly, that's not really what's going on. It isn't about some crazy high unrealistic standard. It's about a really deep level of self-awareness.
So check this out, because this distinction is key. On one side, you've got this idea of chasing perfection, looking for some flawless, mythical partner. That's a total myth. But on the other side, you have avoiding misalignment. And this is the reality. It means you know your own core values so well that you just refuse to pour your time and energy into a relationship that doesn't line up with who you are. They would much rather wait for the right fit than just settle for anyone. So for number 3, this is really interesting. Being selective isn't a sign that someone is scared of relationships. In fact, it's often a sign that they understand them really, really well. Their choice to be single is actually a learned behavior, one that's been shaped by their past experiences. You can think of it like this adaptive process in your brain. First, you go through something tough, like emotional burnout or maybe being let down. Then your brain, well, it adapts, it learns. And the result? You become much more selective. See, this isn't about shutting people out or rejecting connection. It's just smart pattern recognition, a way to protect your mental and emotional energy.
Okay, number 4. For so many people, a romantic relationship is just one slice of the pie. It's not the whole dessert. It's a part of a full life, not the absolute center of their universe.
They're already getting their emotional needs met from all these other amazing places: their career, their creative projects, deep friendships, you name it. There's actually a psychological concept for this. It's called self-determination theory, and it basically says that when your needs for things like autonomy and purpose are already being fully met, that urgent, desperate drive to find a partner to fill some kind of void, it pretty much disappears. And that brings us to the 5th and final reason, and honestly, this might be the biggest one of all. Their life choices are not driven by fear, and more specifically, they have zero fear of being alone. Just think about that for a second. So many people jump into relationships just to escape the feeling of loneliness, right? But people who are cool with being single, they've built up a real comfort, even an appreciation, for solitude. And when you're not afraid of being alone, you become totally immune to that temptation of choosing the wrong person for all the wrong reasons. It's kind of like a superpower. So let's do a quick recap of the 5 big truths we've talked about. 1, they prioritize their independence. 2, they have clear standards, not to be picky, but to avoid misalignment. 3, they use pattern recognition from past experiences. 4, they find fulfillment in all kinds of areas in their life. And number 5, the big one, they are not afraid of being alone. So the next time you see someone who's single, maybe, don't automatically assume they're missing something. The big takeaway here is really powerful. It's totally possible that their choice has nothing to do with a deficit. Instead, it might be about a deep, profound understanding of themselves and what they need, and an unwillingness to compromise on that. And that really leaves us all with a pretty important question to think about. Doesn't matter if you're single or in a relationship, it's worth asking yourself, what does fulfillment really mean to you? Where does your sense of it truly come from?